It's the principle, okay? So nobody plants today, sows. Let's use the biblical word. Nobody sows today and reaps tomorrow. We're moving into harvest season. We're in the third quarter of the year, and by the fourth quarter, there is the harvest. There is the reaping. There is the reaping of your reward. Um, in the harvest season, you can only reap what you have planted, what you have sown. Too often we're going through life and we're looking at things as if things just happen, as if, okay, I did nothing to cause it and I have no authority to change it. Notice I used the word authority. I chose that word over control. We've got to let go of that word control. Thank you, Dr. Anita Phillips. I'm going to always give her props. I'm going to always talk about her because look here. Dr. Anita Phillips helped us to understand. We love to say God is in control. The Bible teaches us God has authority. And God also gave us a choice. And if you do not understand that you live by the choices you make, that's part of the problem. It's not that the world is just happening, because the world does dish out stuff. And ironically, the same world that dishes out things is the same one some of you start talking about you're praying to, using universe. Let that go. I know you've been hurt in the church. I know you've been confused. I know you feel disappointed. But honey, let go of that mess. There's no universe that just yields and wills stuff to you and all of that. It is all by God, but God has a system. And we are the only system we know, the only system we're taught, the only one that's promoted is the name it and claim it and pray and ask and get and give me, give me, give me. But there is a system. And the same system that you look at, that you want to begin to worship as the universe, is the system of God. As long as the earth shall exist, there will be seed time and harvest time. That is the system of God. So you sow and you reap. And you can never reap past what you have sown. It is a principle. Now you can sow and reap so much more than you sown, because of how well it's been cultivated, because how well you've taken care of what you have sown, and you've done the things that you need to do. So you take two people, and Jesus teaches about it in Matthew, where it talks about a seed goes to sow and how the different things happen along the way as we sow. I am often intrigued by the people who are constantly looking for signs and wonders and listening and this and that. And I'm going and I'm hearing and I'm looking at every podcast and I'm listening to every person, and nothing sticks. And when I say nothing sticks, they cannot remember it enough to apply it in their life. They cannot remember it enough to repeat it, and they definitely cannot use it, because only the engrafted word of God can change your life. I don't care what you're listening to. If you're not putting enough time into it to digest it, if you're not putting enough time into it to make it sink and to apply to you, if you're not taking whatever you're listening to and making sure, like, okay, where do I fall in this category? If you're not doing any of that, you're hearing, but you are a hearer only. And it's not going to just go in there by osmosis. You cannot just claim it. You have got to actively participate in making sure that the words and the things that you listen to, that you want to change and make your life better, that you digest it, understand it, and can apply it to you. Words are good and sermons are good, and that's why so many people go to church every Sunday and they leave out the same way. Because if you do not really understand how it applies to you, you can look at it and walk away and go, I got nothing that week. But if you're part of any ministry and the pastor is teaching and you're going every Sunday, you have a responsibility as well. You have a responsibility to go in as an empty cup ready to be filled. You have a responsibility to study as well, to make sure you attend Bible study, to make sure that you are cultivating the word that is spoken and that you fully understand it. That you don't go to church and you sit and you watch and see who has what on and determine who said what and who shot John. You have a responsibility because it is your life and the word of God for your life. The pastor is delivering the word of God that is given to him. And if you have any type of relationship with God, then you're going to hear things that God is saying to you. And then your neighbor will hear things that God is saying to him or her about their life, because that's just how strategic God is. He can speak to multiple people at one time with one word. But you cannot go in there thinking he's going to, explicitly tell you, hey, I know you're going through A, B, C, and D. If he did, some of you all would run about the church and be mad and blame Sister Tell It All for telling your business. So you got to think about what your expectations are. And you got to make sure that not only are your expectations realistic, but your expectations begin with you. We are too prone to let our expectations begin outwardly before we move inwardly, and that is backwards. Start with yourself. Start with the man in the mirror, the woman in the mirror, and then you move outwardly. And until you've completed that evaluation, which will keep you busy 24/7, you have no room to move outwardly. I'm just telling you. It will give you a better evaluation. So when you start thinking about sowing and reaping, you need to decide what you want your fourth quarter to look like. You need to decide what your harvest should be. You need to go to your creator, not the universe, and begin to think about the words that he has spoken. And look at your life and begin to evaluate and say, okay, let me see how what I'm going through lines up with where I'm headed. If you've been asking God for more, then you probably got more problems, more trouble, more situations, more challenges. That's been me. I feel the challenges financially. I feel them mentally, emotionally, socially. But there are things that I'm asking God for that I know I have to grow into. And I've got to be able to handle all of those different facets and still keep moving and keep growing. There's no way I can have the things that I've asked or the things he's promised without it. So instead of looking at everything as it's happening to me and it's hurting me and, oh my gosh, me, and I'm so, everything is beating up on me, start looking at what is it preparing me for. Everything that we go through prepares us for something. And it is up to us to know the something and to make sure that we walk in it. And not always allowing everybody else to tell us what that is. You know when people are, telling you things that you want to hear versus the things that are true. So, on this Wednesday, because it's Wednesday, because it's Worship Wednesday, because it's your midweek message, remember, be not deceived, God is not mocked. Whatsoever man soweth, that shall he also reap. If you have not sown anything, stop looking for a harvest. If you're sowing into the wrong people, in the wrong places, but yet you want a harvest, you're going to get the harvest from those same people in those same places. It is not a game. It's not a magic trick. And you can't just wish and will things away. It's been your girl, Candid with Kim. Sowing and reaping is a principle of God.